But my point is now everybody owns a dog.
You're right.
Multiple dogs.
Multiple dogs.
So what does that say about what do we need?
Right.
Because that will change your physiology. Why does everyone have a dog now? Before.
Why does my neighbor above me in my apartment have 3 dogs?
Multiple.
Welcome to another episode of Primary Care. I'm your host, Dr. Hendricks. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician.
Are you from Austin?
No, we moved from Montana about 4 years ago now. We came right before the weather, right before COVID.
Nice.
Yeah, just got slammed.
Right, so you got one after the other?
Yeah, the snow.
Like, we're going back to Montana.
My wife said it's going to snow in Texas. I said, you're kidding me.
Crazy.
No way. Sure as shit.
So you're from Montana?
No, we're actually from California.
Gotcha.
We're from California, born and raised, both my wife and I. And then we moved to Montana when the kids were at that age to go experience mountains and water and pure air and pure water.
For sure.
And we had a good time with that. Town was a little small, a little cold.
Right.
But I coach football up there and just good sports, good recreation.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been to Montana. I went maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Glacier National.
Yeah, that's right where we were.
Oh my God. Incredible.
Beautiful. Yeah, I tell people we moved and they're like, oh, why? It's beautiful.
It is.
Well, it's beautiful for about
right. I was there in the summer. So.
Yeah, you go in August, it's beautiful. You'll buy a house, you'll start dumping money into the economy, you'll do everything. And then it's February and you get out.
Right, for sure. Is there good skiing there?
Fabulous skiing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I would coach the doctors up there, the doctors would try to recruit doctors to be in that area. And that was their hardest thing, was getting a doctor to just stay in the area.
Right.
Because of that weather.
For sure. When you're a physician and your CV or resume gets anywhere, recruiters just grab it like crazy. So I get texts all the time. Come to Montana. I mean, I would love to visit, but I don't know if I want to live there.
Yeah, that's my point. And Doc's got a nice big home, but I mean, these doctors will plow a road for a half a mile in the morning before they go to work. These are different kind of doctors. These are working docs,
It's that lifestyle, though. I think that's why people are drawn to that area, gravitated towards it. Even when I was there, Glacier National Park, and we were able to go to the lake there, and I guess it's a lake. Is it a lake?
Yeah,
and
Glacier National,
Yeah, we were able to paddleboard out there, which was crazy.
McDonald's stunning. You see down the water like 50, 100 feet.
Yeah.
Down. Is that real?
If you do go out there, at least from my experience, we went out paddleboarding. We were the only people there paddleboarding, and that was already a red flag, but the wind was really strong. And so it will take you out. We were kind of freaking out, but we eventually got around.
People die every year in Montana. It's always the family from, Arizona that wants to go whitewater rafting in May. Or March, and they just get hammered.
Jeez.
And I always said that state will kill you.
Yeah.
The cold will kill you. The ice will kill you. You just got to be prepared. So you just got to keep your stuff wired all the time. You just can't just be la la la.
Right.
Riding scooters all around town.
For sure.
Those things will kill you too, though. Honestly, those things will kill you.
Speaking of which, Austin has a lot of scooters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's more dangerous than the ice.
You will not catch me on one of those scooters.
Never.
And so since you've been here in Austin, have you seen it? Obviously, multiple things have happened that are really affecting where you live. Obviously, the ice, the snow, and COVID. Have you seen it change in these last 4 years?
Well, that's kind of what was interesting about what my daughter and I were just talking about, is just the effects of COVID. I don't think we know the true effects of COVID yet.
For sure.
And I don't know how it's going to affect those kids. I know depression went up. Mental abuse went up. I mean, thank God we kept the liquor stores open, right? That was essential.
Absolutely.
That was a whole nother thing. My wife and I. Liquor stores, really?
Hey.
You can't go sit down anywhere, but a liquor store, you can get a handle jug real quick.
It's vital to the economy, I guess.
Yes, people would have probably think about it.
I mean, we all pacify ourselves in some way, right? Yeah. So I think that is a very common way to do it. I actually didn't even realize how involved liquor and alcohol had been in my social life until I stopped drinking.
Oh yeah.
And realized that
I just stopped drinking.
It's hard to spend time with friends, because that was kind of the way we would all come together. Let's grab drinks. It was always the first phrase, and the first way to bring people together, because food is quite a commitment. You got to sit down there and look at each other and talk.
Yeah.
Whereas drinks, there's usually music playing. There's things you can bounce off of, and then the more drinks you get, the easier it is to communicate.
It's relaxing. I think that decompress is just so relevant to people.
For sure. And you've always been coaching. You mentioned you used to coach football and things that. So were you training back then as well? How long have you been in this fitness space?
I was certified in 1988.
So it's
National
changed
Academy
a
of
bit.
Sports Medicine. Yeah, a long time ago. And just a long time. But when the industry started, there were nothing but professionals in it, professional or ex-NFL or Olympian this or whatever the case may be in the Bay Area anyway. So when I got into it, I was just Troy, and I had nothing. So I really started to put my focus into just developing a result. And everybody's different. That's the whole thing. Everybody has a different need. And so my objective is satisfying the needs. What do they need? Most people are hurt. My knees hurt, my back hurts, my hips hurt, everything hurts, right? And they don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
And then they think they should exercise 9 days a week. They have no background to it, right? So I guess start them off and just gradually work into that process. But
I'm seeing a lot of people in the last 5 years moving into social media to promote their brand as a trainer, and they create some great routines and stuff, but it doesn't seem like they're really having any connection with people. It almost just seems almost like a turnkey burn and churn, kind of like just get people to sign up, give them a routine, and on to the next. And it kind of, in my opinion, has damaged what a trainer is and what they do. It's almost like tarnished their reputation in a sense.
Very much so. I think so too. It's really decredited, so to speak. Just took it right downhill.
For sure.
And so when someone hires me, it's like, what do you do? What is that? It's too much of it's all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're getting. That's what they're getting with me. And then you start working with someone, and then you deliver the result, and then they refer you to somebody. That's how I've made business. I'm 57, so I don't have social media.
That's great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
something
swipe
you
right.
need.
I don't swipe left.
You don't
I
need
still
it.
can't find out where my damn schedule is sometimes, on those phones.
That's
I can't
good.
see my phone.
That's good. That is good.
This is kind of where I'm going with the whole thing, with the mental component of the whole thing. Is what are those phones doing to us? We're not smarter.
No, so my partner and I, we took this summer. We said we're done. I needed a full-on break, and we were off social media for 6 months. It was the most clear I've ever been in my life. I never have had so much free time. I've worked super hard, and then had a bunch of free time to just be in the moment, and it was great. And then we decided to relaunch our business, and so I've been much more involved with social media, and there's definitely two versions of me. There's the one who's heavily involved, you
got a business too. I understand the capitalism of it. Sure, I understand the marketing aspect.
It's tough though,
but it begs the question: is it healthy for a lot of individuals nowadays?
We go back to kids and COVID, and obviously we were spending a lot of our time on our devices during that that phase where we weren't able to see our friends, and it became so second nature to a lot of kids, I think, just to have that as an extension of themselves. And it was already going to happen without COVID, but that just really smashed it even harder into, I think, their faces. And so that's another thing we'll see over time, is what will this do to our kids?
Right. I mean, if I was raised with an iPad, I would have gone nuts.
Yeah, same.
I needed to get outside and swing a bat or throw a ball or ride a bike. I needed to do something far more physically active. If you stick me on an iPad, I'm going to go out of my mind.
I completely agree.
And that's what we give our kids now. Not all of us, but I mean, it begs questions. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's a pacifier for sure.
Yeah.
Even I have a younger brother. He's 11 or 12, 11 I think now, and he was adopted like the day I got into medical school. So obviously our ages are quite different. And a lot of times we go to dinner with my family, and the first thing is, here's the iPad.
Yeah, you were out of the house, so
and so he just like immediately into this zone where he's not even really interacting with us. And these are the times that he's supposed to learn those skills, right? Like, how do you interact with people that you maybe don't see? I don't see him maybe 3 times a year, and so we don't even get that interaction because there's the iPad that's keeping him.
Well, that's a distraction at dinner for my wife and I. Still, we'll say da da da. She'll I gotta look at that.
I know it's true though.
It's just a quick distraction, and that's where it is. They're all distractions, exactly. And so I call it a conscious, intentional thought. You get somebody from a fitness aspect, they have to be conscious and intentional about what they're doing. That's just one aspect of it. Just to be present in the workout, just to start understanding what you're doing to the body.
Absolutely.
And educate them, and they have to believe that. There's my daughter and I talk about this. I always wanted to write a book. The joke is, who are they? What do they say?
Right.
So I'll tell someone that, I don't know how you feel on this one, but I don't believe in dairy at all. I think it's just crap.
Yeah.
Okay. I just think it's crap. There's all sorts
of data.
You just said all sorts of data to back that up. Right. They'll go on the news and they'll start talking about, dairy and da-da-da. And just on the news, what was it, 2 weeks ago? High fructose corn syrup might be bad for you. Did you know that?
Maybe so.
You got to be kidding me. Is someone waking up on March, 1st and going, oh, I did not know. That's brand new information. I mean, is it that far in the dark, or is it? Because you think it'd be pretty straightforward nowadays.
Circling back to the dairy issue, we are just now starting to really cut that out. I think what works well for me with these changes I made in my lifestyle is little by little.
Yeah.
Right now we eat about 80% of our diet being fresh produce, the remaining being mostly lean meat. And then we have some dairy here and there, but that's kind of like the next thing to go. And so
I'm not saying I've never had an ice cream.
Right. No, we will still do.
I'm just saying I'm not going to make it a part of my diet and include it for some reason that I'm calling good for me.
Right.
It's not good for you.
Completely.
Yeah. It's going to hurt you if you don't have it for a while. It'll hurt.
For sure. And it does. We have it now. Right now we are down to once a week. We are a big fan of an Italian sub, which we go to Firehouse Subs. It's like one of our favorite things to do. But they load it up with cheese. Yeah. And it's the one meal right now we still have once a week that has cheese in it. But the next day,
it hurts.
It's painful.
That's my point.
The crazy thing is, though, is it's still sometimes worth it.
Well, that's what I call normal to a lot of people.
Right.
Though. See, that's a lot of people's normal.
Exactly.
And so you take 25 pounds off somebody, 30 pounds off somebody, start getting them in shape. They're like, oh, yeah, that's a whole different normal. Or I wasn't hungry before. Now I know hungry. Like, let's take something as far as intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Okay.
Autophagy. Been around for how long? How long have they taught you that in medical? Of course they do.
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's just it's a system.
Exactly. So,
and no one is in that system. If the body doesn't understand that system, nothing will happen, period. Right. It's not cleaning itself.
Right.
And they act like it's new. It's not new. Bodybuilders known that forever.
Right.
You tell someone to skip a meal, they'll freak out. You know what I mean? Not breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for God's sake.
Yep.
But people don't, the workload is the hard part for a lot of people. They can't understand the periodization of doing something for a small amount of time to deliver just a massive result for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you lose 40 pounds at 40, you're not going to go into 50 heavy.
No.
If you did it the right way.
Right. And if you understand what was done to get you there,
that's it.
How to keep it there.
That's it. You understand you understand the human being. I mean, you never see a heavy grasshopper, a heavy, a parrot or a squirrel.
Right.
Squirrels eat what squirrels eat. Grasshoppers eat what grasshoppers eat. But we're eating a bunch of stuff right now that has been manufactured for us for cash.
Right. And as we mentioned earlier, sickness and illness is a business. It's also wellness is a business too. So just be careful and conscious of where you're getting your wellness information and do research, put that extra foot forward so you can make sure you're getting the information from the right place, from people who you can trust, who are similar to you. Because again, it becomes a big business, and wellness really is becoming that.
It is. And how many kids look at themselves at 18 and go, you know what, someday I'm going to be 90. No one does that.
No one.
At 18, it's for lunch.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all you care about.
Exactly.
Hey, folks, my podcast, Primary Care, is sponsored by Rougiette Ready, the latest pharmaceutical advancement in erectile dysfunction. This is a sublingual compounded treatment using 3 ingredients, sildenafil, tadalafil, and apomorphine, and it works up to 5 times faster than pills and chewables. We give you a promo code, Primary Care, for 20% off your first order and free shipping. Now, let's get back to the content.
But no one has that aspiration, so to speak, to look at that life way out there and go, I will be there.
Yeah.
And I want to be well. I want kids. I want I don't know. It's a fantasy component, but odds are you will go.
Yeah.
And if you don't think about it, it'll get you somewhere.
Yeah, I've always been kind of a big planner. I think has helped me in my career and even education-wise. But you're right. I think you have to have some routine and schedule set in. Like I think sports does really good for young people because it does create that sense of responsibility, that sense of dedication and commitment. That if you don't have that and you're just getting into your adulthood, you don't know where to go. You don't know how to plan for the future.
Yeah, and life throws enough stuff at you too. I mean, you can be as disciplined as you want. Life will kick you in the nuts at any given time, right?
Exactly.
So how do you deal with that?
Right.
And if you're in a chaos all the time and then life kicks you, it just gets more and more chaotic. With children, I want my kids to feel something.
Right.
Go through it, feel it, It hurts a little bit, but feel it. I don't want to protect them from everything.
Right. And those painful experiences, like you mentioned, when your kids to feel something, that's how they build their character. That's how they build their strength for the next problem that will arise and will come at some point, whether it's 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, you're going to have another problem. And you're going to need to find your way through it. And the strength that you built from your last problems is what's going to be propelling you forward in those. You know,
that's the life experience that I'm talking about now. The life experience that I don't think a lot of the youth. Well, there's some good kids out there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I am getting older. You know, you're getting older when you talk about kids. You know, those damn hippies. You look back now, the hippies were fine.
Yeah,
you know? The hippies were great.
They were ahead of the curve.
Yeah. I mean, you got gonorrhea and syphilis out of that mix too. But marijuana, big deal. You know? I mean, nowadays, I mean, there's some crazy.
I know
stuff.
They're getting really creative with the drugs out there.
Yeah, and it's just. But again, what's really going on?
There's
people say, "How are you doing?"
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine. You have no idea if that person's fine. No. You have no idea what's going on, and I think therein lies some of the disconnect. I joke. I don't joke about this, but this is something that I've noticed over the years. When I was a kid, living in apartments and running around doing things, no one seemed to own a dog.
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
Now I'm 100. I'm 100. I say 57, but I'm 100. But my point is now everybody owns a dog.
You're right.
Multiple dogs.
Multiple dogs.
So what does that say about what do we need?
Right.
Because that will change your physiology.
Absolutely.
That's another stress reliever.
Absolutely.
Oh, hi, baby. Hi, puppy. You know, and you get calm.
Yeah.
It's a loving thing. It's very fun. And but it just why does everyone have a dog now? Before.
Why does my neighbor above me in my apartment have 3 dogs?
Multiple.
That runs across the hardwood floor every day.
Yeah, exactly. chasing bowling balls.
Damn.
I know.
It's driving us crazy, but you know, I just, like you mentioned, I said, this is helping them. It's a dog. Just let it go.
Just let it go. Yeah, just let it go. But
you're right. It's so funny that you mentioned that because I've definitely in the pandemic, everyone talked about how all the pounds were like cleaned out because everyone was going in and
I think there's
animals.
a lot to give. I think people want to give.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is. It's intriguing to me. And
definitely interesting.
And the fascination beyond the body now. The body is brilliant and magnificent. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing at what it can do. But what's intriguing to me is how the mind can be you can be new every day. You can think yourself well. You can think yourself happy. And I say that in kind of a blanket statement.
Right.
My point is that the thought process of thinking yourself out of situations, I don't think we're thinking as hard anymore. People don't like thinking. It's hard. And then we stuff calculus on our 8th graders. That's a whole nother issue.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole nother issue. I mean, I'd smoke pot in the 8th grade, too, if I had to take calculus. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? Why wouldn't you? Check out. I mean, it's horrible. But,
it is.
But again, there's all sorts of... There's all sorts of things right there, the way we raising our kids and all that other stuff, what we're putting on them in school, straight A's of this and that. You study this, and then we send them off to college, and I mean, you just drink like a fish
because you're finally
while your brain's growing, and wonder why it's so hard.
I know, and that's what I think the important thing is of a podcast. Keep asking questions, keep talking, give people something to think about. I am. Even as a physician, I never like to label myself as an expert of anything. I'm always learning, right? And it's always creating a conversation. And so when people hear this or listen to this, I don't think either of us are trying to say this is the right way to do things or you got to.
Yeah, the world was flat at one time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It changes, but science is science, and with our bodies, so to speak. I mean, there are cycles and there's systems, and we know that now. That's proven. That's dialed in data.
Yeah,
we know that. It's the mind that is just intriguing on how it affects the body to me, which is fun. Something else I was just thinking about was, I watched, do you ever order Uber Eats or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so not as much anymore.
In the 90s when that came out, which you probably don't remember, but they tried curbside.
Huh.
They tried delivering groceries. They tried showing up delivering groceries. They tried delivering food. People were like, I'm not that freaking lazy. And now, right after the pandemic,
I know,
here to stay.
I know.
So watching that, that was interesting. Are people, are they lazy, or are we that much more busy? There's relevance there. It's a good question to ask,
and definitely people are busier. There's a lot of people that are starting side hustles, like I mentioned, more than ever now, and all these things. But is that where their time should be spent? making money to buy the Uber Eats.
Well,
Of just
I saw a lady in her station wagon shopping at the HEB with the lid open in the back. And I asked her, I go, what are you doing? I asked her, I said, do you use the curbside? Because I'll talk to people.
Yeah, for sure.
And she'll say, yeah, I'm shopping right now.
While she's there.
Yeah. No, that's 20, 30, 40 calories that, you know.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. That's just
sure.
interesting.
But it's
an interesting dialogue.
It's common sense. It's using that again. It's forgetting to use what I can be doing. Instead.
Or you can order food at midnight. No.
Yeah.
You can, or someone's going to pick it up for you. Are you kidding me? That's just, I don't know. That's just, it's interesting to me.
We'll see it evolve. It's continuing to push that way.
Yeah. My dad made me ride to the store, go get food on the bicycle kind of thing. I burn 1,000 calories.
I used to love that
food.
though. So when I was a kid, there was nothing more adult to me than getting on my bike
And
with
going and
with
get
$5 and like either going to the little ice cream place up there or the gas station to get candy and buying that.
Oh yeah, it felt great.
I was like, I am so grown.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you put a card in those spokes too. Now you're not.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Now you got an engine on your bike. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Getting mobile.
This is it's interesting because when I get home, I'm like exhausted from just talking for an hour, but it's so worth it. It's like, it's almost like it worked out just because it feeds me. You know, I really enjoy connecting with people. So
you're doing what what you love doing, and I'm doing what I love. That's
exactly.
a completely, and I could just call that passion.
For sure.
You know, and some people have passion. God bless them for behind that screen.
Yeah.
God bless them. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But there's passion in it.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Is all you have to do is find your passion. Just roll with it. Just go with it. And it might change.
For sure.
You know, my kid wanted to play the drums for a little while. That was a tough year. The little shit can play drums, but, you know, get rid of those things.
Right.
Get rid of them, but he can play them.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a passion for a little while. You got to let that go. That creative side just roll.
Yeah.
And then on to something else.
For sure. Cool.
Fun time, man.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Add us on Instagram at Primary Care Pod. Catch up on past episodes and don't miss out on new ones. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify at Primary Care Pod.